Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Freedom Friday. We're back again this Friday, and I'm so glad about it. This has been a long week. It's been a long 2 weeks. Last Friday, I just couldn't make it, y'all. Just couldn't make it last week, but I had to show up this Friday. So we're continuing in our series of emotional management. Emotional management. Many of you know the story. I watched the movie Inside Out 2, and it was an inspiration to me as we began to deal with the emotions and where we were and where we see ourselves going. But I want to start by saying that today's show is not a debate. I'm not here to debate policy. I'm not here to debate the winner versus as the world sees as the loser. What I'm here is to have a real conversation about how we feel, how our emotions have been driving us for the last almost week and a half. If I must be honest, from November the 5th up until last Saturday, I think that I would have been just walking around in a daze trying to understand what took place on November the 5th. At first, my emotions was shock. I couldn't believe what was happening. I'm looking at the screen. I'm a political science major. Politics, I sleep, eat, and breathe. So I'm looking at numbers. I'm looking at stats. I'm looking at all this. I'm trying to say, what is happening? Then the next day, I began to just sit back and reflect. I have yet to look at the news. Yeah, I've yet to turn on the news. I've yet to look at it. I've just been getting bits and pieces of the news on social media, but to watch a full news broadcast, I haven't done it. But I'm looking back and sitting back and looking at how are we going to manage moving forward. As Black women, we suffered a loss. We lost something that set us back almost 300 years. I'm not going to say, oh, it took us back to 7. No, it set us back. And I often say this, and I say this with all sincerity. And I told someone this comment: if we were good enough to run their houses, breastfeed their children, make sure that whenever the wife wanted a party, I'm talking about white America. I'm talking about on the plantation. Let's be clear who I'm talking about. If we were good enough to do all those things and build 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, then tell me why could not, I said it just like that, why could not, I said it just like that, why were we not able to bring Kamala Harris to the helm to run these United States of America? And I came to the conclusion that white America, especially white men, are not ready for a woman to take the helm. Now, there are lots of other countries who women have ran the country for centuries. But we're in a white, male-dominated society where they have been at the helm of running everything. So it shouldn't be to no surprise to us that she didn't win, but it is a surprise given all the support that was behind her. So I told someone we were given a false narrative. White women for Kamala, Latina women for Kamala, Republican women for Kamala. Was that really true? Or was it just a facade to make us think that these individuals were really behind Kamala? But I told someone yesterday, it was her intellect that was on the line. She was too intellectually smart, intelligent, and present for the moment for a white man to say, I cannot allow this to take place. So we celebrate the fact that a man could not have done what she did in 107 days. You couldn't have done it. I'm just going to be very frank. A man could not went from millions to billions in 107 days. You couldn't have done it, white or black. It was the push for a change in something new. So now how do we deal with the anger, the sadness, the fallout of rejection, and moving forward? And I know it's hard for those of us that's in ministry, pastors. We're trying to say, how can we give scripture and give context to what has taken place? For Black women, I'm speaking to that context right now in this moment. I choose to use the text, "Come, let us reason together." I'm using that text because Black women, it's us, it's only up from here for us. We've been on the front line for everybody else. Now, how are we going to be on the front line for ourselves? It's time to galvanize our intellect, our resources, and say, now we're not going back. We fight, we win, but we got to have strategy. That's number one. Number two, we've got to be clear and say, not today. Not today, not tomorrow. But we cannot fall for the trap that we're not smart enough. We can't fall for the trap that we're not good enough. We can't fall for the trap that we weren't made for this moment. We can't fall for the trap that everything that I worked for, I just went down. We cannot fall for the trap for them to tell us that we're not ready. Not only are we ready for the moment in time, we're ready for position. We're ready for titles. But we're ready for the next movement. See, it's not that we can't run America, because we've been running America behind the scenes. Let's be clear. It's been a woman who's been running it. Men think they've been running, but they really have not. So I want to be clear in that. But I want us to understand that life doesn't start and stop with November the 5th. It doesn't even start and stop with the Electoral College. That's a whole nother conversation within itself. It doesn't even stop with Elon Musk and his crooked self. It doesn't even stop there. But what we can say, it's not about us getting to the top faster, but it's about getting to the top with integrity and with the moment of saying, we're going to make this moment last forever. My prayer is that Kamala doesn't leave the White House on January the 20th and go home and do nothing. She says that she's going to fight, and let's back her. Even though she's not the candidate, we need to support her movement. We need to support her voice. We're not going to break the ceiling, but women, we got to create new floors. Take that same energy that we put behind her to make a change. Create a new floor, a new wall. Hell, even create a new house. Create an opportunity and moment that we can say that we did it, and we did it in 2024. And this move is going to move into 2025. So if you're ready to have the conversation, have it this Thanksgiving, have it this Christmas, but have the conversation that whatever we've got to do, as my sweatshirt says, it is a different world. The world showed us that we're not ready for change, but we're truly going into a different world. So I leave you with this, with your emotions up high. Talk about it. Talk about your anger. Talk about your rage. Talk about your sadness. While you're talking, I need for you to be building. While you are talking, build, because that is what's going to make the difference in dealing with your emotions. And don't fall for the trap that you can't build. We've been building for a long time. So even though they're pointing and making changes to different outlets in the media and to his cabinet, it's not going to affect how we move, but it's going to affect how we strategize. You matter in this season. So women, I want you to understand something. Stay strong and don't give in to the rhetoric of you don't matter. Don't fall for the trap that they're telling you you are not important. Since not only are you important, Show up with your A game every time. Show up like you own the room. Because I need for you to know you have a story to tell, and you are important, and you matter. And life is much better when you understand where your place is. And your place is at the top, at the head of the table, in the head of the boardroom, head of the Zoom room, whatever room you in, show up and own it. Be strong, be savvy, but more than anything, be your authentic self. Don't fall for the trap that you don't matter. Remember, God created you for such a time as this. And don't you allow anybody to dim your light, because you will be the next movement. Have an amazing Friday. If no one's told you today, let me be the first to tell you I love you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Live life and live life on purpose. Have an amazing Friday. Make today the best day of your week, because today you matter in this season. Have a good day.